All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. So glad you could join us on a Tuesday. By the way, quick reminder tomorrow, Michael Avenatti will be joining us from in the 10 a.m. hour. And Sarah Ruckley, very, very popular comedian, right, JD? I know you were a big fan of hers. Buckley, I apologize.
Yeah,
she
goes by Not Your Worst Mom, and she is hilarious.
Did I say Ruckley?
You said Ruckley. It's Buckley. Sorry, Buckley.
That's what happens when you're on the radio 3 hours a day. You lose your mind a little bit. Anyway, so joining us on the show right now, this is fun. You know, I played college golf. I'm a huge golf fan, right? I watch the majors, and then we have the PGA Tour in our backyard, which is great. So I always attend the Shriners Hospital for Children's Open, no matter what the field is. I don't even care who's playing. I know they're professional golfers. It's going to be fun to watch. This year, and not to say last year wasn't a great field, this year is arguably the best field they have had since Tiger played here. They have the number one player in the world. They've got Phil Mickelson, and we're going to name plenty of more. So the guy would have this in studio right now is a big part. I know he's very modest, but he's a big reason why the tournament got to where it is now. Patrick Lindsey, the director of the Shriners Hospital for Children's Open. Patrick, thank you so much for being here first.
Thanks for always having me on. Really appreciate it.
Well, let me say this. Let's start with this, okay? And by the way, the tournament starts Monday.
Yeah.
Okay? The actual PGA event is Thursday through Sunday, a week from Thursday. Let's start with the huge news. Okay, since last time you came on.
Yeah.
You said you thought there might be, off the air, there might be a good chance we get Brooks Koepka.
Yeah, you were a few days early, Brian.
So this is a big deal, Patrick, as you know. This is the number one golfer in the world. Let me repeat that again. The number one golfer in the world is going to be playing in the Shriners Hospital for Children's Open, Brooks Koepka. This is huge. How did you get him?
Luck. You know, it's just it was a team effort by a lot of people too. You know, doesn't help that Brooks loves Vegas. I mean, a lot of people love Vegas, but you know he'll go out and win a major and come to Vegas and celebrate. So he has a lot of connections here, and he loves this city. And last time he played, he finished second to that was the year Rod Pampling won. So he knows the golf course, and he's played well on the golf course too. So it's really only upside for him to come and play.
A chance to spend $10-20, maybe bring one of your kids for free,
right,
and watch the best player in the world play golf.
Right.
I don't understand why anyone would be opposed to doing something like that. Let's move on to another name. And I heard rumors about this guy, and we don't have to talk about it but I've heard rumors that former UNLV golfer Adam Scott had some issues with some former people at UNLV. He just had issues with the athletic department, and because of that, perhaps, allegedly, I don't know this to be true or not, but I've heard from pretty good sources that he kind of took that out of the reason for not coming back here and playing in this tournament, which has absolutely nothing to do with you, by the way.
Right.
How are you able, first of all, is any of that true, number one? And number two, how did you change his mind and get him out here this year?
Well, I think with him, what he's always told me about this event, it really had nothing to do with UNLV. I think he made the decision to leave UNLV after his sophomore year or after his second season because he thought his game was ready, and there were some other Australian stars that were turning pro, and I think there might have been some sponsorship dollars possibly available to get, and he felt like that was his best opportunity to go. So I think that's kind of what I have heard. And then the reason why he's never played us before, from what he's told me, is that, he's where we've typically been positioned in the fall. In October is when the Australian Masters is, and when all these Australian events are taking place, and that he wants to go back and support his home country and play in those events. And this is 100% we moved 30 days up in the schedule, and all of a sudden we're in, September, October now, not October, November. So it has freed up his time and a lot of people's time to come play.
That is enormous. Yeah. And I think that's another huge reason why the field is so amazing this year. Okay, so let's talk about somewhat of a controversial figure, but we all agree an icon for the sport of golf. He was just here, Phil Mickelson, playing against Tiger Woods at Shadow Creek. And he hasn't been here a lot recently. In the past, he used to come here all the time. This is a huge name for you because he's going to get big galleries. Fantastic, fun player to watch play. And to be able to watch him out there on the golf course, an icon in the game of golf like Phil Mickelson, is incredible. How were you able to get him to play this year?
It really came down to our executive committee and a group of men and women that have led really by Mr. Mike Flanagan, who's a sponsor of ours as well. Just kind of stayed on his team and his agent, and they, as a volunteer of the tournament, just kind of reached out to a few guys and was able to get a conversation started. and he was really interested in coming to play. What worked in our favor was that the President's Cup is now in December in Australia, and Mr. Woods has made it known to all of the people who are either on the team or competing for those last few spots that they need to stay fresh, they need to keep playing, and it's really important for Phil to play on that President's Cup team, because I think if he plays this year, he breaks some type of consecutive team golf record for most team events played. So it was really important for him to come out and play well and stay fresh. So he, looks favorable for one of those captain's picks.
I can tell you right now, this is a great sports town, and you want as many people as possible going to Shriners, but it's very difficult when you don't have the big names. It is not out of the realm of possibility to believe that the PGA Tour could put a grouping together like, for example, Brooks Koepka and Phil Mickelson in the same group. I guarantee you that if that does happen, you are going to get large galleries, maybe larger than you have ever seen, and I will certainly be one of those people in the galleries. It's possible that could happen, right?
Especially considering both those guys hit the ball 330, 340 off the tee consistently.
Enormous.
I mean, they just destroy the ball.
That
Hitting bombs, as Phil says.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's possible, right? The PGA Tour could put, or maybe it's Bubba Watson, right? You've got, and I want to, I'm just speaking off the top of my head here, but I'm just going to name some names here, and then we can talk about it. Gary Woodland, the guy who won a major this year, right? We've got Hideki Matsuyama, who I personally believe is one of the best, if not the best player in the world that's never won a major.
He's extremely underrated.
Other guys out there like Tony Finau, who's another phenomenal player out there. Bubba Watson, who has won majors, multiple majors.
Webb Simpson, Zach Johnson. I mean, they're major champions as well. We've got a slew of them, but I think you'll absolutely see the tour group some of these people together. We'll probably find out maybe by the end of this week, kind of what some of those pairings might be. But we want to see that. We'd like to see a crowd following people around, and at the end of the day, this is all about promoting Shriners Hospitals for Children, and you put these marquee players together, and then our viewers on the Golf Channel are going to go up, our ratings on the Golf Channel are going to go up, and more eyes on the hospital and that product. So we want it to happen, and hopefully it will.
Is Patrick Cantley flying?
Yes. Yeah, just add him to the list.
Add him to the list.
Bryson DeChambeau.
He's last year's winner, sure.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick Cantley has an unbelievable chance to win. I mean, he won 2 years ago. He finished second last year.
He just loves the golf course.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely loves the golf course, and I guess he loves Vegas too.
It's important to note, and obviously I'm a huge golf enthusiast, so I'm talking about all these names, and I get excited. I'm looking forward to it, of course, and I know there are many other people that are, but there's a lot more than just golf, right? We've talked about this with you before. Give me some of the things, if you just want to go there and just have a good time. Great food, great energy. Yep. You could go swim in a pool, right? I mean, there's different things you could do there on the golf course. It's not just about watching golf. I remember me and JD went to the Shriners last year, and I believe it was Sunday, and I'm watching a lot of golf, but at the same time, I'm in the tent watching golf, and we're watching the NFL and football.
I was definitely betting games, and then that was an unbelievable setup up there, too. What's that called, the ninth hole, or what's that called up there?
Hill.
The Hill.
Yeah.
The Hill was a
so
great
we're up
time.
there, and I'm watching. This is true. I actually made a small wager on Bryson DeChambeau to win the tournament, so I'm very proud of that.
Won a few dollars
So
on that.
So I'm sitting there in the tent as he's coming up 16, right? And I watched him make that 60-footer for eagle, and I'm going crazy. I'm like, this is so much fun, And so I watch him make that 60-footer, and then I'm watching him tee off on the 17th hole, and after he hits his shot, I'm going back in the tent and watching some of the NFL. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
You can't beat this. This is awesome.
No, it's awesome, and it's all weekend too, because we have college games playing on Saturday too. So up in the Hill, but that the Hill, and then the area that we're kind of expanding on this year that you'll see, it was a smaller footprint last year called the Point. And then a hospitality structure closer to 17 green on the players left there called the Hive, powered by Thrive Hive. That whole area, 16 and 17, kind of the hillside there, and then the Hill. That is the area that we are trying to grow and deliver the atmosphere. Any meeting that I'm ever in, whether it's with a client or, on the airwaves or with a volunteer even, we talk about the Waste Management Phoenix Open and what they've been able to accomplish there. And it didn't happen overnight, and it won't happen overnight with us either. But, we have to find the area on our golf course where we can build a stadium or have something that is kind of known as the place to be seen, and we're really excited about what we're doing from the Hive, the Point, and the Hill, all up there along 16 and 17, because that's the spot for us. Sure. That's what we're trying to grow, and that's where we want people to go to be seen.
Well, last year you showed the Niners Raiders game, I believe, on that Thursday. Are you doing something like that again?
Well, I don't know who the Thursday night game, but it's not the Raiders.
Yeah.
No, the Raiders are playing my Bears in London on Sunday, I think. So we will have the Raiders
Well,
Bears
congratulations.
game.
You guys got a win last night.
Yeah, we got a win last night, 2-1. But the Bears Raiders game will be played Sunday morning at the golf tournament, so everyone can come out and not be scared to miss out on not just the Raiders game, but any football game, because we'll have all of those games going on up in the hill. But what we do have going on after play on Friday and Saturday night, we have a local band from the Barbershop and Cosmopolitan, the 442s.
Oh, cool.
That will be performing, and that is open to the public. So you don't even need a ticket, actually. You can come in right off the street after play and walk into the hill and get have some live
Very
music.
cool. So obviously you're a golf fan at heart too, and you know so much about the game. But let's talk about, is this the type of tournament where you can see turning into, say, the Phoenix Open? And what do you feel about people screaming out "Baba Booey" after hitting a shot? Fried eggs and tomatoes or whatever the hell else they're screaming out. Is that something you're opposed to as the tournament director, or is that something you say, hey, we want some energy as long as people aren't saying something before a shot?
Right. I think that's where you were going right there, Brian. That's what we want.
Yeah.
We want people to come out and have a good time and create a really good energy. I don't want people to scream profanities or
right, of course,
or say something. Just saying something negative or derogatory.
Phil, you belong in jail.
Right. Like we don't want that. I want to keep it positive. I want people to have a good time. I want to make
Bryson, your hat sucks.
Yeah. I want to make sure that families can come out and have a great time and not feel threatened or anything. But
right. We don't want that.
No, but
no.
We want the
Have
energy.
you seen that though? Because you traveled all these tournaments. Have you seen, can you give me an example? I'm just curious. Mm-hmm. I've never seen this at the Shriners, by the way. The fans are great. But have you gone to a tournament where you just heard a fan say something, you just want to strangle them? Like, what are you doing, bro? Have you ever seen that?
I actually see it more on TV than I see it. When I go to tournaments to play or recruit, it's basically Monday through Wednesday. So I really don't see it, except I just hear it on TV. It drives me crazy when people just yell just random things, like bananas or I don't, just whatever it is. I'm like, all right, come on.
But okay, so
they're having a good time, so it's okay.
A player that I haven't seen play here, Justin Thomas. I remember there was an incident where I think you can go the opposite route. Obviously, we don't want obscenities. No logical person would want somebody disturbing a player before a shot. They should be gone. But Justin Thomas, this happened last year. He hits a golf shot, and he took a lot of flack for this, and I think he deserved it. A player, after he hit the shot, said, "Go in the bunker." First of all, there's nothing wrong with rooting against a player. There's gambling involved here, okay? And there are players that you can bet against other players. Maybe you don't want a player to do well. To me as a fan, you have the right, as long as you're not doing something before the shot. So if a fan after the shot says, "Go left, go out of bounds, go in the bunker," I personally don't see anything wrong with that. What did Justin Thomas do? He turns around, he gets the fan ejected. I thought that was wrong. What's your feeling on that?
To be honest, I don't really have much of a feeling on it. The play, there's only so many things that are kind of within our control. And in that instance, really, Justin has all the control. If he wants the fan removed, then he can have a fan removed.
Is that how it works? So a player could remove a fan for any reason?
Well, I mean, you can't have a fan removed for doing something that doesn't distract him. But in this instance, if Justin feels like the fan is distracting.
Right. If it feels distracting and it's affecting his play, which affects his pocketbooks and his results, and of course he can. And I agree with that totally.
I don't. I think it's bad for the PGA Tour. I think if a fan wants to get involved and root for a player or not root for a player, I think that should be just fine.
Brian's favorite movie is also Happy Gilmore.
That's not true.
That's absolutely true.
It's not true. It's not my favorite movie. Caddyshack is my favorite movie. No, but you understand what I'm saying. You want the fans to be involved, and even if it's a fan rooting against another player, as long as it's not before the shot, me personally, I think we need more of that. I think we need fans to be more involved, whether it's rooting against a player or for a player. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. This is sports, okay? This is a sporting event. There's going to be a rooting interest. Just because you see fans rooting for somebody doesn't mean there's not fans that are not rooting for somebody.
Right.
That's just, I'll be honest. I wouldn't root for Rory Sabatini because I think he's a jerk, okay? There's certain players on the PGA Tour that I look at and I'm like, I'm not going to root for that guy. He's a jerk.
So who's an up-and-coming player like a Cameron Champ or somebody like that who's playing in this tournament?
Matthew Woolf from Oklahoma State. Won the 3M Open last year. on a sponsor exemption. So this will actually be his first year as a rookie on the PGA Tour. Has a very unique swing, similar to like a Jim Furyk. I mean, it's very different and very unique. Can crush the ball. Definitely someone to keep your eye out on.
The Woolf of the PGA Tour. I like that.
Yeah, possibly. You should trademark that now. Colin Morikawa is another one as well. He was won on a sponsor exemption up in Reno,
and he won the tournament.
Championship. Won the tournament, and he is a Las Vegas local. He just moved here, so he'll be playing in the event as well.
Speaking of
those two guys,
and speaking of Las Vegas locals, Charlie Hoffman is playing this year, correct?
Charlie's back.
He's a fan favorite.
Yep.
Ryan Moore is going to be playing this year.
Na.
Kevin, I mean that's awesome.
Aaron Wise, another great kid.
Yeah, so you got all the locals that are playing here. You have the number one player in the world. You have Phil Mickelson. You have huge household names like Bubba Watson.
Yep.
I mean,
Adam Scott
as the tournament director.
Gary Woodland.
Well, the guy just won a major.
We haven't talked about him. He's such a great guy.
And what a great guy. And I thought that moment that he had with that nice young lady.
Yeah, Amy.
Amy was such a phenomenal moment.
That was cool.
And you could make the argument karma, man. The way he handled that situation was so professional and so it was an emotional moment.
She was actually a really good golfer.
She was. Yeah.
She made some pretty decent shots.
And then the guy
I definitely could not make.
Well, she did it on 16 at Waste Management. I mean, she just went up there and striped it on the green.
It's really nice to see players doing things like that. And you're right. Woodland is like, I've never heard anybody say anything negative about him. I have heard a few people say some negative things about Jordan Spieth. A little bit of a baby at times on the course, but it was great that he played last year. Is there a reason why he didn't enter the tournament this year?
There's a little wedding that's happening the weekend of our tournament.
I heard about this wedding. Rickie Fowler.
Rickie Fowler is getting married the weekend of our tournament. And, so that wedding, unfortunately, took a few additional guys out of our event. And it was something that we found out about this pretty early on. And
Rickie, come on, change the date.
Yeah.
Change the date.
we can do.
Come on.
How selfish are you, Rickie?
Really happy for Rickie and Allison, obviously, but we were very nervous about what our field was going to be like because, we heard that it was going to be very intimate, but even if it's 75 guys, it could be the top 40 players in the world.
Right.
And it ultimately, took, obviously Rickie and Jordan and Justin Thomas out of it for us.
You think they would have played? Probably.
Rickie plays quite a bit. He doesn't necessarily play every year, but he's in every other year. I mean, what we noticed though, when it comes to our field and how it comes together, it only takes a couple of guys, and then a lot of guys start kind of falling into place. So if there wasn't a wedding, I would imagine that Rickie and Jordan, and possibly even Justin would be here.
So when are we going to see a long drive challenge at the driving range open to the Vegas public?
Oh, geez, that's a good question,
right?
And maybe use some of my sponsor value program and get some PGA Tour players,
absolutely,
including that as well. That'd have some media attention.
I like it. That would be a lot of fun. So let me ask you this: can you give us any hints? I know the tournament starts next week, but any names that you could say? Well, there's a good chance we could get him. We're waiting on this. We're waiting on that. Anybody that comes to mind?
I think, the only one that we've had some conversations with that it looked promising was Patrick Reed. And he played last week in Europe. So I think it's a matter of him getting back in the States this week and see how he feels. But that might be a guy that we could add. But again, we've had some positive conversations with him, a month, 6 weeks ago. So we'll see if that happens. But
if Jordan Spieth ever comes back, please match him up with Patrick Reed in a group. I would like to see that.
Talk about ratings.
What happened to Dustin Johnson, by the way? Why doesn't he play in this event?
It's a good question. He just had knee surgery last week, so that kind of took him out. It's a guy who loves Vegas, though.
Yeah, so. I always wondered why. Maybe he's afraid he'll get a little too crazy with Paulina in Vegas. I don't know. I don't know that way. And Wayne, yeah, exactly.
Or without Paulina.
Exactly. So before we let you go, Patrick, and we really appreciate you coming in. I'm really excited to catch this. It's great. You've done such a phenomenal job. Give the information out as far as ticket pricing. I know that kids are free at a certain age. So I want you to give that information out. Number one, how people can buy tickets. What are the charges for each day? And by the way, the tournament's not just Thursday through Sunday. It does start Monday. You can walk the grounds. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so ShrinehorseHospitalsOpen.com is where you can go to purchase tickets. We actually just completely refreshed our website. That was really scary. We just launched it, but it's awesome. You can actually purchase the ticket right there on our website. General admission starts at $26. Now, again, kids get in to the event for free with a ticketed adult 18 years and younger, so there's no excuse to bring out your family at a very affordable price. The Hill, presented by Casamigos, is another kind of upgraded venue to go into. And then for just, I think we're at $65 for now, you can get a clubhouse ticket for the day and be able to experience TPC Summerlin Clubhouse and their restrooms, which is always a good selling point, in order to upgrade to a clubhouse ticket. But their Chef Marcus will have a really nice spread for everybody out there who has a clubhouse ticket too. So it's, we're just ready to have a great event. And the weather, oh my God, the weather is going to be awesome. We're looking at high 70s, low 80s, so it's going to be fantastic.
That is ideal.
You can't complain about the weather. Is it true that is Justin Timberlake 86th from TPC, or is he allowed to watch the tournament?
No, he absolutely.
Okay. Just want to make sure. That's all.
He was out here a year ago playing. So
so this is Casamigos is presenting the Hill, right? So is there a chance that the Clooney shows up, George Clooney, because he's an owner?
That'd be awesome. I haven't heard anything, but would love to have him.
You don't get George Clooney, but walking the grounds you do get Brian Shapiro and JD Sharp.
Oh,
so
there you go.
It's a good toss-up. Well, Patrick, again, you've done such a phenomenal job. I can't say enough good things about you and your staff and the hard work that you guys have done. Thank you so much for being here. Cannot wait for next week, Patrick.
We'll see you guys next week.
There you go. Patrick Lindsey, Shriners Hospital for Children's Open. Take a quick break. Be back right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take.